everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I'm going to be sharing with you our relaxed homeschool approach to language arts for kindergarten, first, and second grade. Most of you know that language arts isn't really just one subject. Language arts really means literature, writing, grammar, spelling, phonics, and reading. So a lot of families will actually go and take a curriculum and use a separate one for each individual little subject of language arts. And in our relaxed homeschool, I do not do that at all, especially for these grades. Our relaxed homeschool is really, we do a lot of more hands-on learning and reading together than we do sitting down for really long periods of time at the table, especially for kids that are this young, because they just really aren't made to be sitting and writing for all that time. And to be honest, they're probably not learning very much while they're doing that, because kids at this age learn the best through play. So while it's important to get a good foundation on these things, I don't think that you need to spend the bulk of your homeschool day sitting and doing workbooks on all of these different areas. So what we do is and I hear my children upstairs. What we do is phonics. Now we do adventures in phonics. We only do this every other day, one page. Like I said, we just use really short lessons. Every other day, one page. On the days that we are not using phonics, I use Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. Again, this is every other day. We do not do this every day. So one day we do phonics, and one day we do Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And that is the only actual curriculum that I use for language arts for this age. And I'll tell you why. Because in the phonics books, okay, these are actually designed to help kids learn how to read phonetically. I have been using these books probably since close to the beginning of our homeschooling journey. And what I found is that while these books are great for learning beginning and ending sounds, they're not really good at helping kids learn how to put those sounds together into words. At least that's what I found with my own kids, which is why I've actually combined it with Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, because the phonics books gives them a good foundation in the alphabet, in knowing their letter names, and in also the sounds. And Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons also goes over the sounds, but it really helps them to learn how to form those sounds into words in a more natural way. I do not use spelling for my kids. Actually, none of my kids use spelling books anymore. And the reason that we do not use them, well, a good portion of that reason is because even when my kids are not doing these workbooks, oftentimes in our unit studies, I will write things on the board for them to copy as copy work. When your child is copying things down in actual sentence form, especially if you're copying something out of a good literature work, such as, say, from Mark Twain, or now not at this age, but say from Shakespeare, and even Bible verses. Bible verses are a wonderful way to get your kids to write, to see how words are spelled, and to see what good writing mechanics are. I also want to point out that in Adventures in Phonics, kids, they are writing words all the time, and as you can see here. And a lot of times they do repeat the same words over and over again, and they start out, say, missing the first letter, and your child has to fill it in, and then they might do the last one is missing, they have to fill it in, and then eventually it will be the middle sound, and then at one point it will show a picture of the word, and your child has to write the entire word themselves. So I don't feel that a spelling curriculum is necessary, because with the combination of these phonics books, and I'm going to show, we do use level B. This is what I use for kindergarten, and then a lot of times, since we only do it every other day, it goes into first grade. I'm not one that has to finish a curriculum. I don't feel that's necessary. So what we do is they finish off this curriculum, and then sometime in first grade they will start this one, and this one will go on in through second grade. Now I do want to point out that I'm not a person that's really big on what grade your child is in. The only reason that I actually assign grades, not letter grades as in A, B, C, D, but what grade, what level your child is at. The only reason I do that is, first of all, because it helps them to know what Sunday school class they have to be in. And also our school district will always inevitably put a grade level for your child depending on how old they are. So there it is. We have our grade level. But I'm not a stickler about keeping this method for kindergarten, first and second grade only. For example, last year, my son was in third grade, but he just started learning how to read. Well, he did not started learning. He just started reading, I should say, at the beginning of third grade. So instead of moving him up with the older kids, I kept him with his sisters who were younger than he was, and he continued on with his phonics book. And he also did teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. So if your child is a bit of a late reader, it's okay to use the earlier methods with them too, because all children develop differently. We can't expect them all to be cookie cutter images of one another. We want our kids to be individuals, right? Okay. Another thing that I like about Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons is that they do have your child work on the letters. And so this is my son's. And at the end of each lesson, they're asked to write down, they ask you to write the sounds. They don't really focus on the letter names, but the sounds. So then as my child is writing the letters, especially when they're first learning them, as they're writing, for example, B, I'll have them say B, 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 every time that they're writing the letter B. So, getting back to writing, I do not use a writing curriculum with my children. Again, this is because, first of all, we do a lot of copy work in our home. And also, I believe that in these early years, it is so important that your child has a good foundation in reading, their letter sounds, and their fine motor skills. I don't really think that you need to keep adding all of these additional curriculum or workbooks to children who are really oftentimes learning just now how to write with ease and how to write legibly. I really think it's important that we let our kids develop in a way that suits them. So writing curriculum, and to be honest, I won't use writing curriculum ever. We even when they're older, our kids do notebooking rather than a writing curriculum. At this age, my kids do a bit of notebooking, but most of their notebooking is copy work because, again, this goes right in with the spelling. Your child is seeing good writing modeled in their copy work example. So they are seeing where periods go. They are seeing where commas go. And it doesn't take 12 years for a child to learn what a noun, an adjective, or an adverb is. And to be honest, even when your kids are older, the only reason that they need to know what past participles and hanging participles and gerunds are is if they're going to go on to college. They're going to need that for an English course. But I know that in the real world, when I am writing, for example, a post or a unit study, I don't think to myself, oh no, I have a dangling participle there. I think to myself, wow, that doesn't look right. I need to change that. So it doesn't take that long for your kids to learn the grammar. So I do not do grammar either with my children, especially at this age, because again, it's all about having a good foundation. And the reading, I do a lot of read alouds with my kids, and I do have them do silent reading once they learn how to read on their own. When they are working on it, I will sit and read with them. They read one page, I read one page, and we enjoy doing that a lot of times. But I think it's so important that we make our kids' learning as natural as possible. We don't make it cumbersome. Don't make it boring. Don't make it feel like a chore, because learning really is a wonderful thing. And as homeschoolers, we have the freedom to allow our kids to develop a love of learning that they might not get if they were being forced to do things in school that they're just not ready for. So this is our relaxed homeschool approach for language arts in the early years. Later on this week, I'm hoping to share how we do that with our middle grade kids, I guess you would call it, and I'd be referring to 4th through 8th grade. That's who I consider not middle school, but middle grades. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. Or if you're not subscribed already and you'd like to subscribe, see, my daughter just yelled, she wants you to subscribe, just hit that subscribe button. So I hope you have a great day.